to the stage your Miss Carolina, Kevin Potter. Woo!
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters, members and guests. My name is Kevin Potter, and I want to tell you a little bit tonight about what I do for a living. You probably wonder when you go to the doctor and you have a test done, you probably wonder what happens to that test between when you have the test done and when you get your results. And so I'm going to tell you a little bit about that and what I do. What I do is I'm a cytotechnologist, and a cytotechnologist looks at cells under a microscope, and I look for cellular changes and anomalies. And cytology was founded by Dr. George Papanicolaou. He's the father of modern cytology, and he also discovered that you could use vaginal fluid from female genital tract to detect cervical cancer in women. I'll rephrase that. And so the Pap smear is named after Dr. George Papanicolaou. And that's one of the types of specimen I look at is the Pap smear. Those are called GYN specimen. The other type of specimen I look at are called non-gynecological specimen, and that's anything from the other part of the body other than the female genital tract. And so first I'll tell you about the Pap smear. You go to your doctor, the doctor collects the sample, and he uses a brush and he collects the sample, he puts the sample into a vial and it's sent to the lab. And when we get the sample at the lab, it's run through a machine and processed, and the cells are put on a glass slide. And then they're stained so we can see the cells, individual cells, and then there's a glass cover slip placed over that. And then we take that slide and we look at it and diagnose whether it's negative or whether there's like a precancerous condition there. And if it's precancerous, we send that to the pathologist. And if it's negative, we go ahead and sign that out and send the report to the doctor's office. And so that's what happens with your Pap smear. Another type of specimen that we look at are the non-gynecological specimen. That includes FNAs. And FNA stands for fine needle aspiration. And fine needle aspiration is if you happen to have a mass somewhere in your body, the radiologist would stick a needle in your body and collect cells from that mass. And then we'll smear that on a slide, bring it back to the lab, and look at it, and let the doctor know if it's malignant or not. And the pathologist is usually the one that determines whether it's malignant. And when it's not malignant, then the cytotechnologist will look at the slide to make sure there's not anything else there. And that's just one part of the non-gynecological specimen. The other non-gynecological specimen can be collected actually in your doctor's office. The radiologist collects the specimen usually in ultrasound or CT, sometimes under anesthesia, so they can get to the specimen. But the other specimen can be collected in your doctor's office, and then that's sent to us. That could be from anywhere, from your bladder. It could be a breast specimen. It could be a pleural fluid from your lung. It could be anywhere. And so we look at those two, and again, the pathologist has to look at all of those cases after we look at the cases, and then they make a diagnosis, and the results are sent to your doctor. And the use of cytology is expanding. They also do endoscopies. They can, stick the probe down into your lung or into your stomach and get to areas that are hard to access without having to use the needle. And so those are some of the things that are happening in cytology. Also, as far as PAPs are concerned, they're using HPV testing to help diagnose cervical cancer now, because if you have certain types of HPV, certain strains, you're more likely to contract cervical cancer. And so those are just some of the things that are happening in cytology. And so now, when you get your bill, it might be kind of expensive, but it's because there are quite a few people involved in the process of obtaining your results. So, thank you. that